That probably sounds like a lot to somebody who does not exercise at all. But I didn't just wake up yesterday with zero fitness routine and start all of this, right? So, starting small, just doing what you can and then building upon that to find a routine that really works for you is really, really important. And this routine works really, really well for my life. So finding an exercise schedule that you can easily integrate into your daily life is super, super important. If I tried to come up with a workout routine that just did not work out for my schedule, then I'd never actually be getting my workouts in. So I find that with this schedule that I currently have, I'm getting these workouts in 95% of the time. It's very, very rare that I skip a workout. And that's because I've integrated it so well into my life. Welcome to Elevate Your Ride, the podcast dedicated to elevating your performance in the saddle. I'm Ellie, your personal trainer.
And I'm Lauren, your mindset coach. Today, we're going to take a look at Ellie's workout plan and see how she developed what she does on a regular basis. Ellie's done a ton of trial and error and a ton of research to be able to develop a plan that works for her and her needs and her ever evolving goals with her horses and lifestyle. So, Ellie, you want to take a minute to kind of give us a rundown of what a week looks like for you in the gym?
Yeah, of course. So I try really hard to be active every single day. So my fitness plan and my workout routine has evolved immensely over the last 5 years or so. Like since I really started, diving more into fitness and how I can help you as a rider. And it even changes, the more experience I get as a coach, the more experience that I see within my own body and within my clients' bodies. So it's ever evolving, and I'll probably listen back to this in a couple years and be like, "Oh my gosh, but she's missing this now." And so that's the beauty of fitness, right? Is you never get to that point where you're at 100% athleticism or where your body is perfect, right? Like you're always working towards achieving the highest level of athleticism, the highest level of perfection that you can, but you'll never get there, right? So just trying to do your best every day to reach your goals. So I think that if you're going to develop a workout plan, you need to have a really clear goal in mind of what you're trying to work toward. If your goal is not clear, you're not going to get to where you want to be because you don't even know where you want to be. So I started off with my fitness a couple years ago, like everybody does, right? Saying, well, I just want to be lean. I want to have abs. I want to have a booty, right? like everybody else. Like I feel like everybody always starts into fitness for the aesthetics, and then as you get further and further along in your fitness journey, you focus more on the functional side of things and how your body works, not necessarily how it looks. So that is something that the further along you get in your fitness journey, the more that you kind of realize, and it's something that everybody has to go through. You can't really skip that part of the process if that's where you're starting at. So embrace the journey, let your body and mind be where it is and let it evolve. So where, like I said, where I started off in the beginning was focusing much more on aesthetics. So I was a little bit more concerned about what I was eating, like calorie wise, not necessarily macro wise, and just trying to stay lean but build muscle at the same time. So I used to focus a lot more on like strength training. So I used to strength train probably 4 to 5 times a week. I would do upper body twice a week, lower body twice a week, and a full body once a week. And I kind of added in like a mobility routine kind of in the beginning and the end, but I didn't necessarily focus on mobility itself as a workout in and of itself that I tried to do a couple times a week. And then I used to run probably about once or twice a week when it's nicer weather out. My husband and I will go play soccer or go do another sport like badminton or something like that, something that's more fun to get our cardio in. So what I noticed when the strength training in and of itself was the focus of my program is I noticed that I was getting strong, but I wasn't necessarily stable. I wasn't necessarily super mobile. And I developed a couple body compensations, a couple muscle imbalances. And it was kind of frustrating because I was newly certified and I thought that I was following along, what the National Academy of Sports Medicine, the company that I got certified through, I thought that I was doing a pretty good job of following along what I should be doing. But I just wasn't necessarily seeing the results that I wanted to in the saddle. So I think that that's where the traditional strength training is a little bit different than developing a really strong workout plan for equestrians, because traditional strength training is going to focus on building muscle. It's not necessarily going to focus on quite as much about your muscle imbalances, your functional fitness, your athleticism. Like it's just to build muscle, right? So if you look at what traditional strength training does, it's set up to build muscle. So there's different modalities that you can play with as a personal trainer or as you're building your own workout plan. So those modalities would be like sets, reps, weight, rest, what type of equipment you're using, if you're using machines versus dumbbells versus resistance bands. So there's a million different modalities that you can kind of play with. So traditional strength training is usually like 1 to 3 sets, 8 to 12, maybe up to 14 reps within those sets of like a moderate weight that it's challenging for you. So choosing a weight that you can complete that amount of sets in. And usually you pick about 1 to 3 exercises per body part. So if you're going to be training biceps, you might do traditional bicep curls with your wrists facing up. And then you might do a set of hammer curls where your wrists are facing together and your thumbs are facing up. And then you might do like a dumbbell waiter curl where you're just holding one dumbbell and you're just lifting that one dumbbell up and down. Like there's a million different ways that you can challenge the muscle. And so what I found with traditional strength training is, like I said, I was getting strong, but I was just missing a couple key elements and I didn't quite know what they were or how to fix them. And I kind of started noticing the same problem in some of my clients. So I tried to work out and actually not try. I do usually do pretty much the same workouts that a lot of my clients do because that's the program that I've built, right? It's workouts for equestrians. So my workouts look very, very similar to my clients. And so what I started noticing is that a lot of my clients were also having those same issues. They were losing a little bit of mobility, losing a little bit of that functional stability through their body. So, kind of what I mean by that functional stability is I would ask somebody to do more of a traditional body weight type movement like a push-up, right? And I started to notice that like people's shoulders weren't quite as stable as I wanted them to be, or it asked them to do a single leg squat and their hips weren't quite lining up the way that I needed to be. Like I just started noticing like little things like that where I was like, okay, I see that that's an issue. Let's correct it. But I didn't realize that those issues just started coming across the board in my own fitness and in my clients. So how I corrected that is it just naturally started happening. So, as a coach, I'm always trying to better my knowledge about fitness, gather more education. So, every 2 years, I have to get recertified through NASM. And so, I have to take classes, and there's a bunch of different classes that I can choose to take. So, I try to take those throughout the 2 years. I don't have to take them all within a certain period of time. Like I don't have to get recertified till next year, but I can already start taking classes that are working towards that recertification. And so I use that as a big part of my education. And I try to take classes that maybe kind of reiterate parts of the certification that maybe I didn't fully understand at the time when I got certified, or just kind of gaps in my own knowledge. So that's one way that I do it. And then another way is I read books like Becoming a Supple Leopard, books that are written by either physical therapists or personal trainers, people of that type that have way more knowledge than I do about the body. So I try to learn from the people that have had their success. And then the other way, and my favorite way to become a better coach and get inspiration for new exercises and that sort of stuff, is to take group classes or classes by other instructors, other trainers. So I'll go and take yoga classes, or I'll go and take, like right now, I'm actually doing Pilates. So I'm going to a facility called Club Pilates, and there's a bunch of different instructors. And I try to go to a different instructor every time I go because I really like learning one, their coaching style, like how they coach people. And then two, the different exercises that each coach uses, because two people could get certified to the exact same certification, and exercises will resonate with one person more than the other, and one person will focus and understand more about one type of exercise than the other. So even to people who got certified through the same thing are going to use their life experiences to coach differently, right? So I really, really like to learn by hearing how other people coach. That's my favorite way to learn. So I started realizing by going in, listening to other coaches and being in that group fitness environment where you're seeing other people and how their bodies move and the areas that they struggle in. And there's some areas that I was really, really strong in, like the best in the class. And then there were other areas where I was like the worst in the class. And I'm like, well, that's really interesting to have such a wide range of ability, right? So the areas that I was really struggling with was everything laterally. Everything laterally has always been a real challenge for me, especially after my back injury. So I started making sure that I was incorporating more lateral stability, lateral flexibility, lateral strength in my own program, started seeing the benefits out of it. So then I started adding it into my own clients. So that's kind of one way that my workout plan has evolved over the years.
Hey, Elevate Your Ride fans. Are you loving our show and looking for a way to show your support? Check out our line of Elevate Your Ride merchandise. From stylish t shirts to cozy hoodies to journals and hats, we have everything you need to represent your favorite podcast. Ready to gear up? Click on the Buy Our Merchandise Here link in the podcast notes, or head on over to our website, elevateyourride.co, and click on the Store tab. Thank you for your support. Make sure to like, follow, and share our platform with your friends.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in to Elevate Your Ride. We're so excited to continue helping you elevate your performance in the saddle. To keep bringing you quality content and information, we're asking you to help us. Tell your friends about us on our podcast, like and share a meaningful quote you saw on our social media, write us a review on Spotify or Facebook. You can also join our Facebook group and ask all your health and fitness questions, or maybe post a success story to motivate another amateur. Your engagement really helps us support and encourage the equestrian community. We're also inviting sponsors and supporters to help us build our show. As a sponsor, starting at just $150, you'll receive marketing on our podcast, website, and growing social media platforms for your business. It's the perfect way to connect with the equestrian community and showcase your brand to our dedicated listeners. And for our supporters, your $50 contribution gets you a shout out on our social media and website. Every bit of support really helps fuel the show and helps us inspire and motivate equestrians. So, if you're interested in learning more about that, you can scroll down to the show notes of this episode and look for the become a supporter or become a sponsor links and click on those to get some more information. Thank you for listening. We can't wait to continue expanding our platform and helping you elevate your ride. So, my exact workout plan right now, it's ever evolving, right? But I am actually only strength training 2 to 3 times a week now. So, I'm doing lower body legs on Mondays. Mondays are usually like my leg day. I just like to start off the week with a good leg pump. It's also the furthest day away from when I'm riding in my workout split. So, I usually ride on Fridays and Saturdays. So, I try not to hit legs later on in the week because I don't want my legs to be sore or tired at all when I go to ride. So I really try to prioritize that. So hit legs on Monday and then I hit upper body usually on Tuesday or Wednesday. I kind of leave that day up to me and how I'm feeling and what's going on in my schedule. And then another day of the week, usually on either that Tuesday or Wednesday that I'm not doing upper body, or maybe even on Thursday, I'll go and I'll do my Pilates class. And there's a bunch of different styles of Pilates classes, but I find that pretty much all of them work my entire full body. So before I started taking Pilates, which I only started doing that like 2 months ago, so it really actually has not been that long. I was instead of doing Pilates, I was just doing like a full body strength training workout. And that was great. But now I've kind of replaced that piece with Pilates. So I do lower body once a week, upper body once a week, full body once a week. And the reason why I do that is to build muscle, to build strength. Ideally, you want to be hitting each body part twice a week. So I can do that by only working out 3 times a week by doing lower body once, upper body once, full body once. That way, even though I'm only strength training or working those areas out 3 times a week, each area is getting worked out twice a week. And that's a great way to build strength, build muscle. So that's the reason why I do that. And then, so on Mondays and Wednesdays, my horse trainer and I do our physical therapy exercises together. So maybe about a year and a half ago, we got evaluated by a physical therapist for equestrians, Michelle Correa, who we actually had on the podcast last year. I want to say about a year ago. I think it was last spring. And she developed a physical therapy routine for each of us. And it's evolved over that last year and a half. And I've even taken it and evolved it even further than Michelle even had me do. And so on Mondays and Wednesdays, Savannah and I do that for 30 minutes in the morning. So that's how I'm starting my day on Mondays and on Wednesdays. I sometimes will get that physical therapy workout in an extra day in the week, but that is really dependent on my week. If I just find, like, if a client cancels and I have an extra 30 minutes here, or if I have a light week work wise, then I'll throw in that physical therapy a third day. It would probably be great if I did it more often than that, but that's just how life goes, right? We're not able to always work out as much as we want, even as me as a personal trainer, right? I don't work out as much as I ideally would, but that's life, right? So be okay with that. So then on top of that, I do like a cardio session like about once a week. Sometimes if my schedule is really busy, I'll only get it in every other week. I usually try to either run a mile, or I'll go and play soccer, or go on like a really, really long walk. I leave what I do kind of up to how my body is feeling. So I'll kind of leave that up to a little bit of like intuitively exercising. So what do I feel like my body needs? If my joints are a little sore, if I'm a little achy, then I'm not going to go for a run. I'm instead going to go for a long walk. But if I'm feeling good, feeling strong, then I will go and do my run. And I don't like to run more than that. There's this principle that you should supplement your fitness routine with what you're missing in your daily life. So I ride twice a week, and I usually ride like 1 to 2 horses when I go out and ride. So I'm usually riding about 3 horses a week, but I'm also lunging that horse. I'm also doing showmanship with that horse. So I'm spending about an hour to an hour and a half with each of those every time that I go ride. So I personally, when I go to ride, with the level of riding that I'm doing right now, I don't need more cardio to feel like I can effectively ride those horses. Like, I have my cardio strong enough that I don't need to do a whole lot of cardio outside of that one time a week, because I just don't feel like I need it, right? Riding, lunging, doing showmanship, that is all forms of cardio. So I just don't feel like I need more than that. Oh, the other thing I do, I go line dancing. I
So
used to be
fun.
oh, it's so much fun. Great cardio. I used to do it like religiously 2 to 3 times a week. Like, it was a lot. And you're out there like dancing your heart out. Like, talk about a good workout. It is intense. And like I said, I used to do it a lot. I do not go that often anymore. I go maybe about once a week, once every other week. So that is another form of cardio that I do. Super, super fun. 10 out of 10 recommend if you have a bar nearby you that does line dancing. I can't tell you how much fun I have with it. I don't drink alcohol at all. I just go out, I have fun with my friends. It's super, super fun. So that's the only other form of cardio that I do. And then I walk. I walk a lot. I try to get my 10,000 steps in at least every day. So I will walk while I'm on client calls. I'll walk in between client calls. I'll get up in the morning and go walk. And I, on average, walk probably 4 to 5 miles a day, pretty much every day at least. So walking is a fantastic form of fitness. I seriously can't recommend it enough. It's a great full body exercise. It clears your mind. It is super, super functional, right? One, for your daily life. And then two, when you go to horse shows, you need to be able to walk long distances and not fatigue, right?
Absolutely.
So that's part of the reason why I do walk so much, is like, okay, like when I go to Arizona, like I need to be able to walk all over the property and not get tired, right? I need to be able to lunge a bunch of horses and not get tired, right? So walking is a huge, huge part of what I do. And then I try to do a little bit of stretching or foam rolling, probably 4 days a week. I usually don't stretch or foam roll on Fridays or Saturdays. I just, that's typically when I go and ride. So I try to take those as kind of like a little bit of rest days from working out. So really Monday through Thursday, sometimes on Sundays, those are my workout days. So, to recap all of that, I strength train 2 times a week. I do Pilates once a week. I do my physical therapy twice a week. I do cardio once a week. I ride twice a week. I walk pretty much every day. And then I do some sort of stretching, mobility, foam rolling probably 4 times a week. So that's probably sounds like a lot to somebody who does not exercise at all. But I didn't just wake up yesterday with 0 fitness routine and start all of this, right? So starting small, just doing what you can and then building upon that to find a routine that really works for you is really, really important. And this routine works really, really well for my life. So finding an exercise schedule that you can easily integrate into your daily life is super, super important. If I tried to come up with a workout routine that just did not work out for my schedule, then I'd never actually be getting my workouts in. So I find that with this schedule that I currently have, I'm getting these workouts in 95% of the time. It's very, very rare that I skip a workout. And that's because I've integrated it so well into my life. So that piece is really, really important. Hi, everyone. It's your personal trainer, Ellie. If you're looking to become a stronger, more balanced, and flexible rider, I'm here to help. I offer virtual personal training sessions and customized workout plans that you can complete on your own. As a fellow competitor, I understand the physical demands riding requires, and my goal is to help you perform your best for your horse, whether you're preparing for a show or just want to improve your everyday rides. Visit lopeanddowntherailfitness.com or click on my website tab in the notes of this podcast episode to learn more. Let's work together to elevate your ride.
Are you looking for that extra competitive edge, struggling with show pin anxiety, or looking to set and achieve meaningful goals with your horse? Schedule a session with me, Lauren, your dedicated mindset coach. As an experienced competitor, I understand the mental demands required to excel at the highest level, and am here to support you in building a plan to help you stay accountable and reaching those goals. For more information, check out laurencervelli.com or click on the website link in our show notes. Let's work together to elevate your ride. Well, one thing that I noticed by all the things that you do, a lot of them are with a friend or with your husband there or in a
Yeah,
group, right? So it's a great
yeah.
way to also get your social calendar kind of filled and get that enjoyment of having people to do these things with. And because like you're saying, it's a lot, but when you're doing it with somebody, it doesn't feel like a lot because I know that the workouts that you and I do together are way more enjoyable and I work harder than when I just do it by myself.
Yes, yes. That's actually a great point, and I guess I didn't even really think of it that way, but yeah, when I'm doing my physical therapy, that's with my horse trainer. That's not on my own. When I'm going to the gym, that is always with my husband. My husband and I go to the gym together after he gets off of work and after we make dinner, pretty much most weeknights. And then I go on a lot of walks with him. When I'm going out line dancing, I'm with my friends. When I'm at the barn, obviously that's with everybody who's at my barn. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. And I think that that's part of the reason why I really enjoy my workout routine so much right now is because it's social. Like I'm able to kind of knock out that kind of social piece of my life with the workout piece of my life. And a lot of times when I'm going on my walks, I try to go on walks with my friends. I have surrounded myself with a lot of people who are very, very active. One of my best friends is actually training for a marathon right now, which is absolutely crazy. You met her, Jessie.
Yeah,
Um,
she's
sh-
awesome.
yeah, yeah, Jessie's training for a marathon right now, and I'm super, super proud of her. I could or never would do that. I do not enjoy running at all. But go Jessie. And yeah, so just trying to find a workout routine that really honestly works for you is the most important thing because you could develop the perfect workout routine, but if it does not work for you and your schedule and you don't do it, then what's the point? You're not doing it.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's I think a big thing too of what you and I have developed for my routine is it's stuff that's enjoyable. It's challenging, but I really enjoy the workouts that we have put together, and I especially enjoy it when we get to do them over FaceTime together.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so much fun. I love my job. I love my job so much. And that's another thing, right? Is I try to combine my work calls with exercise. And I know that that is very unique to my job. Most people can't do that when it's not nice weather outside. So, like during the winter, because I live in Oregon, it rains a lot. I have a walking pad. So I try to do a lot of my workout calls on my walking pad or I'm standing. I never really sit during my day. I try really, really hard not to. So that I guess that's another thing that I is technically part of my fitness routine is I don't sit. Sitting will kill your back and your posture and your hips faster than anything else. If you can find a way to not sit during your day, you would be amazed at how much more one, how much more fit you would feel. Two, you would feel a lot less achy and a lot less stiff, like through your joints and through your muscles. Like you just feel more athletic if you're standing all day long. And I know that that's not realistic for some people, but you could technically say that I do have a desk job, right? When I first started this business, that's kinda how I treated it, is I would kinda sit and I'd watch my clients and I'd watch them do their exercises, and then I'd take little notes on my little computer and update their plan and all that stuff, and I did that for, like, about 6 months or a year, and all of a sudden, I realized, like, how stiff my back was getting, like, my back is already not good, right? So then when I added it sitting on top of it, I was like, "Oh, this is not gonna work." So I bought a standing desk, and I stand, or I walk on my little walking pad, or I go walk outside for my client calls. So, trying to integrate exercise into your work life is so, so important. So, what I do for my clients who maybe can't do like a walking pad or can't do a standing desk during their job, because there are some jobs that don't allow that, right? It's not feasible for that line of work. So I give them an office workout. And if they were to do it front to back, the whole thing in one sitting, it would probably take them about 10 minutes. It's not something super long. Most of my clients just do, it's like maybe like 10 to 12 stretches that I give them. And most of them they can do while they're sitting at their desk. They're, like a lot of static stretches, just opening up where their chest and where their back gets tight throughout their day, working on a little bit of shoulder mobility, a little bit of spinal mobility, just kind of trying to undo what sitting does to your body all day long. And a lot of my clients just do the exercises like when they have a 30-second break here, when they have a 30-second break there. Like they don't necessarily do them all consecutively. And I can't recommend doing that enough if you sit all day long. Like incorporating just a little bit, it doesn't need to be a lot, just a little bit of movement into your daily life is super, super important for your overall health for your body.
Yeah, I remember right out of college, I actually had a sales job, which was a desk job. And as you know, my personality, I am not a desk person.
No.
But like the only way that I could make it through the day is I would look up and be like, okay, every hour I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to do 15 squats every time. And then
I love it.
I'm going to do 15 jump squats. And then I'm going to do 15 squats and then 15 jump squats. And then I'm going to go back. Did I ever have to go to the bathroom? No. But did I wanna go and move around? Absolutely, because
Yeah.
it was so hard because I could feel myself getting really tight and just my SIs, everything just sitting
Yep.
there, and I couldn't handle it. So I added movement, and that was before I knew anything about fitness, honestly, because I didn't even really work out when I was in high school, or I started working out in college. And that's when I realized, like, oh, wow, how come nobody ever told me that this would make the rest of my life feel better? Like, for some reason,
Yeah.
that was never instilled when we were
Yeah.
in our high school
Kids.
PE classes,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It was just kind of like you try to get through the mile test and try not to cry,
Mhm.
and then you just leave. But then in college, when I had to work out for the equestrian team, that's when I started realizing, oh, there's more to this than just going through the motions. And then once you and I started working out in a functional way, then it really was a whole nother level that I just have a new respect and enjoyment of fitness.
Yes, yes. I wish that PE was treated a little bit differently for people in elementary school because how the that environment is your likely your first introduction to exercise. And most people hate PE, especially the people that aren't athletic. They see it as a
Me.
class that they're forced to do. and they don't want to do it. And a lot of times there's a lot of negativity around it, either with the teachers or with the other kids. And so people just starting to hate exercise. And that makes me really, really sad. Like, if people learn from a young age that like exercise is just part of life, it's not really something that's optional, I think we'd see a lot less chronic disease. I think that we'd see a lot less people
1000%.
in the hospital at such a young age. I think that we'd see people aging more gracefully. I think that like, if you just take one thing away from this podcast, literally just one, exercise in front of your kids. I have a lot of clients that literally bring their kids to their workouts. I don't care. I'll tell them some things to do. That
Right.
happens all the time. I've got multiple clients that their kids, their babies are with them their entire workout, and I'll give the kid something to do. I don't give the baby something to do, but teach
We can lift the baby.
I seriously, I have one client, she uses her baby as a weight,
Yeah.
and talk about functional, right? So, exercise is just so important. Like, if people looked at it as something that was not optional, something that's just part of your life, oh my gosh, like, you just see such a difference in your health, in your life, in your riding, like, just it's just good. Just do it. Just start. If you don't exercise, just start. It doesn't need to be perfect. It'll evolve as you get better and better. And yeah, so that's my routine at the moment.
I was just gonna ask if you foresee changing your routine anytime soon or if you're really happy with how it looks right now.
I'm pretty happy with where it is right now. I think I'm just gonna keep on chugging along. I don't think there's anything that I need to add. I feel pretty strong when I go to ride lately, so that I'm pretty happy with. I think I just need to keep working on the areas that I'm weak in. So anything laterally, I always struggle with. So I'm gonna keep working on that. I would love to be able to put on a little bit more muscle, but that doesn't necessarily help me towards like my riding goals, just like my aesthetic goals. I would love to be a little bit leaner, who doesn't, right? But
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my diet. I eat pretty well, but I'm not going to say no to a cookie or no to a piece of cake. And I'm not changing that anytime soon. So, the things that I would change about my fitness routine and like how I look are probably not realistic for me. So, I'm probably not going to make a whole lot of changes. I don't know that I'm gonna continue doing Pilates forever. I really enjoy doing it. I've learned a lot. It's been a lot of fun, but it is an expense. And I think I'm gonna take what I've learned from Pilates and try to create like my own like new full body Pilates routine at home. So
Yeah.
I'll probably do that in the next couple months. That's probably the only thing that I see really changing anytime soon. Other than that, I'm really happy with my routine. I'm happy with my results. I'm gonna keep on chugging along. And I mean, it takes a long time to develop a really, really strong fitness routine that you feel like is achieving your goals, working with your current schedule. That's the hard part is when your schedule changes, you might need to change your fitness routine. So, as long as my schedule doesn't change, I probably don't need to change up my fitness routine. So, that part's really nice.
Good. Yeah, absolutely. And hey, I'd love to have your routine too. Move to Bernie and then we can go do Pilates together.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
I would love that. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. Find us on Instagram and Facebook, all linked in the podcast notes. We'll see you next time. The information provided by Elevate Your Ride is for educational and informational purposes only and is not intended as medical or professional advice. While we discuss health and fitness topics related to equestrians, the content provided through this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. The views expressed by the host and guests on Elevate Your Ride are their own and should not be taken as professional guidance. We strive to provide accurate and up to date information, but we cannot guarantee that the information will be applicable to every individual listener or that it reflects the most current research or guidelines. Before making any changes to your health and fitness routine, we strongly recommend consulting with a qualified professional who can provide personalized advice based on your individual needs and circumstances. Elevate Your Ride and its creators will not be liable for any direct, indirect, consequential, special, exemplary, or other damages arising from the use of information on this podcast. Thank you for listening to Elevate Your Ride. We are committed to providing high quality content and appreciate your trust in us as a source of information for your health and fitness journey.